Hello, this is Kenny the Handyman here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to properly close your outdoor swimming pool up for the winter. First, you're going to want to start by making sure that the water is properly balanced, has the right pH levels and the right amount of chlorine to start with. And I'm just using your standard test strips to make sure that everything is good before we add in a winterizing kit. I'm going to be using the standard winterizing kit, which is basically shocking the pool and adding some algicide type things so that algae doesn't form and stain the pool liner and stuff like that. Also, before you start, you're going to want to vacuum the floor of the pool out. Make sure it's as clean as the water can get before covering it up. So that's what I'll be doing next, and I'll show you that process. So now that I've tested my water to make sure that it's perfectly balanced, which it is, it's good for swimming. The only problem with this pool is I haven't vacuumed it for a couple weeks, so you can see it's got a lot of debris at the bottom of it. So before you close it up, you definitely want to take your vacuum and just make sure you get it nice and clean so that there's no staining that goes on having that dirt and stuff sit down there throughout the winter. Now that I've got the pool completely vacuumed and the floor is totally clean from all debris, I'm going to take the ladder out of the pool and anything else you may have in the pool, and then I'm going to apply a shock treatment to it. So just use, if you want to shock the pool and let it run for a couple hours. So in order to shock this pool, apply your shock to a separate container. Then you're going to swish it around, mix it quite a bit. Then I just spread the shock around the pool. Go down to a different area. Dump some more shock in, let it run through the filtration system for a little while. But this is how you need to shock your pool periodically throughout the summer anyways. So it's the same process, shocking your pool for the winter time. Okay, so we're gonna finish dumping that around the perimeter of the pool, and then I'll come back with the next step. Okay, now that I've shocked the pool and I vacuumed it, I removed the ladder and the basketball net, just got the pool ready for closing. I let this pool run for an hour or so after shocking it. Now I'm going to add the winterizing chemicals. So I have a winterizer and a stain protection thing, and basically I'm going to take a quart of this chemical and I'm just going to pour it into the pool, just going to disperse it around the entire edge of the pool. I'm going to do that for the other chemical as well when we're walking around the pool. Filters running here. Okay, got the entire chemical around the pool. Do that for the other one, and then we'll let this run for another hour. So besides those chemicals that I just poured into the pool, my pool comes with these slow dissolving winterizing tablets that you actually suspend in the pool, and over the winter time these chemicals release into the pool and keep the water protected from stains and algae growth and stuff. So I'm going to be putting these inflatable pillows. I've got 2 of them here, and I'm just going to use those to keep the tarp that I cover the pool with over the surface so that leaves don't accumulate, and how it gets like a crater in the tarp and then water pools in there and leaves collect in there. Well, these pillows will help solve that problem. They'll keep a nice little bubble in the center of it, and it'll allow me to suspend these tablets in the center of the pool without touching the sides, because they could stain the pool liner if you let it do that. So I just tied them to the pillows, and we'll be tying them into the center of the pool before we close it. Almost forgot to mention that with these particular suspending tablets, you need to punch holes into the container in order to allow the water to circulate through these things. So I'm just going to take an owl and punch holes into this. So do that wherever the holes are marked here, and then it'll allow It's got several spots marked on this container to allow you to punch the holes, and then the water will circulate through there throughout the winter. So now I've given it about an hour to let those chemicals circulate throughout the pool. And what I like to do is I'd like to backwash my filter just so I don't have all that dirt and stuff that we vacuumed earlier sitting in here all winter. So we're just going to change it from filter to backwash. And then at the same time we're going to want to drain all the water out of the skimmer so that we're going to be disconnecting the hoses and all the equipment soon. Also, just like this pre-filter before the pool pump motor, it's got leaves and stuff in there, so we're going to want to clean all that out. But we're going to want to disconnect all these pipes and stuff after we've drained the water out through the backwashing process. So let me just turn this on. Gotta reach over here. Okay, my backwash hose is filling up. We'll go to the other end, and you can see all the stuff coming out following the tube here. Okay, it's about ready to come out. Oh, it's plugged up. There we go. So it's clear for a few minutes, but you're going to see it's going to get pretty dirty quickly. So I like to bring this bucket here because you can see how much dirt's going to come out soon. And you can get a clear view of what's coming out. It's starting to get dirtier and dirtier right now. Not too bad yet, but you can see there's a lot of debris floating around in the water there. Let's see if it's coming out any dirtier. And when I normally backwash, I do this until the water comes out completely clear. In this case, I'm just going to keep running it till my skimmer makes a suction noise. Yeah, it's pretty dirty right now. It's got a lot of stuff in it. But we're going to let that run for a while until you hear the sucking noise coming out. Then we can disconnect all the pipes from the pool so they don't keep water in them and freeze over the winter time. So now that I have the water level down to about as low as the skimmer can suction out the water through the discharge hose, we're going to turn off the pump and we're going to disconnect all these hoses to drain all the water out of the system so it doesn't freeze. We'll disconnect all the hoses from the motor, the backwash lines, and the heating unit. So I'll start with disconnecting it from the skimmer because there's still about an inch of water left. And when I do this, it's going to get kind of noisy because the water will still come out. Nope, I've got a double. On this one, I put two hose clamps on just in case one fails. I don't want my whole pool to drain out. So that's why I do that. Just a helpful tip. But we're going to take this off. And it's going to pour out until it drains below the bottom of the skimmer level. Next thing we'll do is we'll disconnect this discharge hose as well. Get all that water coming out. And that's going to drain too until the pool gets lowered. And then I'll show you about this part next. So we absolutely want to drain all the motor out of your pool pump, otherwise that's going to freeze up. So that's a good idea to also clean out your filter basket. Got lots of leaves in there from touching all with the vacuuming. Yep. And here is another tip. I put double hose clamps on the discharge of the pool pump because this builds up a lot of pressure and I don't want just one hose clamp to hold that on. So if it bursts, it will leak all my pool water out. So just another tip, but continue disconnecting all your hoses and draining all the water. Also very important, don't forget to remove the plug from your filter because you want to drain all the water out of your filter so that water in there doesn't freeze and crack your filter up. And definitely remove all the hoses here from this water here and drain all the water out of that as well. So once you have all of your drain hoses completely disconnected and everything drained, then the next step is to tie up your floating pillow system here with those hanging winterizing tablets. So I got a rope tied across the pool, and then the pillows are just tied to the rope, and then I'm going to be throwing this tarp over the top of it, and that'll keep the tarp raised up above so that the leaves don't accumulate in a crater in the center of the pool. So the final step is to throw your tarp over the pool and cover everything up. And my tarp has this cable here which goes around the perimeter of it, and then it goes to this ratchet type device here, and then when I turn this, it tightens the cable up, and then the cable will secure the tarp to the bottom of the pool. And that will pretty much wrap up the pool for the winter time. Hope this helps.